All right. Let's try e4. The French. Let's try the anti-French. Are they in pre-move mode? It's not a good choice. I don't really know if that's the name. This is actually it's the Chigorin variation. Chigorin. If you're curious about looking it up, if that name is unfamiliar to you. Could I just gain some space here? G4? That seems a bit ridiculous, but I somehow might want to do it. No, I don't want to do that. Let me do something less committal. How about just throw another pawn in the center? What's wrong with that? Is this move going to come? You know what? Yeah, let me do... I'm going to go for like a King's Indian structure. So let me do this to start. I was just going to do G3. It's almost like I would be going against my own words from a previous game. But do note that in that previous game, I was talking about how you want to be able to reinforce your center and avoid the queen exchange. I'm avoiding the queen exchange. I do have the center reinforced. And now that this pawn is pushed, maybe I could do this instead. And then follow up with f4 and then knight here. I think I might like that idea. Or maybe f4 right now. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'm going to try this. f4, knight f3, g3, bishop g2. And this is like a bird's opening. I pretty much want to keep these guys right where they're at, side by side. Keep them as a duo. And well, why do I want to do that? Well, for as long as I do that, I retain flexibility between them. Maybe this, maybe capture. And well, maybe I'm not liking knight here. Is that going to be a pain? Maybe. How about this move? Maybe now I could change the structure. Ah. What's the big difference now? I'm going to do that. Rules out me having to worry about knight here. Additionally, what is it that black wants to do with this now, with this structural change? In what direction do they go? They play on the queen side. This pawn would like to get rolling, but guess who's in the way? So maybe this is going to be a bit of an inconvenience. Now, I could throw my knight out right away, but maybe I want to get in something like c3, d4. No, I don't want to give this bishop the opportunity for maybe taking my knight and then giving a check with the queen. This is good enough, actually. My knight here is already threatening d4, so let me focus more on development here. However, right now, since I have a space advantage, I want to be cautious about trading too much. Maybe there was an opportunity to get a pair of knights off with knight here. And c3 is... well, now I could play this and then get my light square bishop on d3. Yeah, let's do that. My bishop needs to come out. Where should it come out? How do I organize the rest of my development here? Queen here, bishop here, and then castle. Queen here, eventually if the c file opens up, I'm not going to be too happy about having my queen on c2. And if I try and develop my bishop in this direction, there could be a5 bishop here, so let's not do that. I'm gonna go with this. Maybe queen g3 later. Yeah, this is a decent idea. Queen g3. Queen d3. Okay, I don't know that that's a good choice here. Just gonna develop. Now maybe I could even prevent the light square bishop exchange. Keep in mind this is a bad guy, and now okay. Let me get more development in. I'm going to look to get in c4. It's a plan that I now have. So knight b to d2, okay, and I want to make black struggle a bit more to get the light square bishops off. I guess they could really force it if the knight comes back here. But I'm gonna be a pest to black if they do that. My idea here is going to be, okay, well they're not threatening that yet, but I'm still going to do this move just to prevent the pawn push, because if it happens, it's A, gaining space on the queen side, and also allowing for knight a5 to b4, c4 ideas. I don't see a good reason not to play knight here. However, maybe I want to get my knight to this square. And if it ever kicked away, I could play here, maybe give up a pawn just to cement a knight on this square. I do, however, need to be moving much quicker than I am. Let's play my knight here instead. Or, yeah, let's go here. I have a space advantage. Maybe just not even allow bishop for knight exchange. I do have to go quicker. My opponent I already know to be fast. So kingside castle. This knight I could be pinning it, but I don't know what the follow-up is after just the breaking of the pin. In fact, I see it more of a case of me putting my bishop in a spot where it's welcoming a light square bishop exchange, and clearly that's something I do not want to do. It's for that reason I played queen e2 earlier. So now what? Times are evening out. Castles. For some reason I kept thinking, like, is knight b8, bishop a6 a nice try? Keep in mind, these maneuvering type of things can come about. Look at how the center is closed, so there is time for these sorts of things. And okay, well, we're going to have a pair of knights coming off, and now this other one could follow in place here. And I'm going to run forward. There's rook g1, pawn push. However, with this last move, that is different. Well, let's see. I want to get dark square bishops off. Is my opponent going to allow me to do that? If pawn push here, these guys are kind of stuck. Okay, basically, let's stop that guy right in his tracks. Okay, well, kind of helping them out. Got the bishop pair. So what? So what? Who cares about that bishop pair? Maybe I want to be in a quick spot to get in c4 and open up the position. As soon as this knight moves and is no longer around to jump into the weakened b4 square, maybe right now I do it. In fact, let's go in this direction right now. I want to open it up over here. Time. I'm going to go with this. Just open it up. Let's just open this up. I gotta watch out for mate. Devote a rook to it. I want to keep this pawn right here for a moment. My queen, I think, could be very annoying if she could get here. Let me threaten mate first. Mate threat. So queen could take here and fork both of my rooks. But I think this is now serious trouble. Where does the king go? I think I get like first strike here. I land the first significant blow. It's got really opposite sides castling. We both went after one another's kings here. I believe I can do this first and then throw in a check. Now just recapture. No, that's just mate. All right, Mr. Allen Chess. Good game. I think that's one of the first ones that really went down to the wire like that. We've played several games. If you did not know, those that are viewing this, myself and Allen Chess have played several. So, okay, how did things look from your perspective here? Keep in mind, well, how can you do something different maybe? Ah, right here. Maybe doing something like bishop e7 and then c5, knight c6 is a better way to reorganize stuff. My opponent is saying that queen e2 is new to you. Yeah, it's definitely atypical. So if you're a French player and you're seeing queen e2, this is pretty much stopping the d5 advance because you're not able to recapture with your e-pawn anymore because of the pin. So maybe even here bishop e7 with this move. Throw a question to my pawn quickly and then maybe get in, depending on what he does, get in c5. I think things are a bit awkward for you when you play your bishop to c5. As aggressive looking as it is, it does allow for me to gain tempo, and with the structural change, this bishop is now misplaced. He's in the way of your c-pawn. It's this guy that wants to be on c5, and then the knight kind of just tucking himself right behind it on c6. Okay, so anyhow, that's an important detail because it does translate to a different structure, and there's all of a sudden a clock ticking on, you know, who could maybe build up the center. Are you in a spot to quickly maybe try and rip it down? So, yeah, he's kind of just backed up. Now, the other thought I had for you at this point right here, well, I don't know about the pawn push, for one. Maybe you should do a now or never thing, like right now. Why don't you do f5 and just give me the one opportunity? Are you going to take right now, or are you going to keep it closed instead of baby stepping it with the two moves? So maybe that's an adjustment as well. But even working with this position right here, I like this idea, trying to get the light square bishops off. I believe that was your intention. And now right here, maybe maybe it is in this direction you could be going with your knight. Get rid of my number one attacking piece, let's say my good bishop, for your bad bishop. Try and get that exchange in. It seems awkward, but again, the center is closed. And I think you could maybe afford the time to do just that. Now, which knight to do that with, I'm not so sure. Maybe there's a reason to run with the knight on c, so that if this pawn comes under fire, you have your c pawn around to support it. It's tough. In fact, excuse me, sorry about that. It's a tough call, but or actually I'm liking this better, actually. If you go with this knight, if I'm ever thinking about c4, you have knight moves to b4. So maybe this is a better try. Knight b8 with bishop a6 to follow. A small middle game plan to try and implement. These aren't like, what would you call it? These aren't like super elaborate plans. It's like, okay, how can I just recognize which are the good bishops, which are the bad? How can I maybe get my bad bishop for their good bishop exchange? This is maybe a way you could do just that. But the game went into a much different direction, and yeah, I don't know about the decision to castle so quickly. But I don't know. Interesting game right there. Down a pawn, but hardly matters in these cases with opposite sides castling. Yeah, this is tough. I don't know that this is defendable here. Yeah, I think we're beyond the point of it being defendable once the queen is sneaking in here. But okay, good game.